Hi, I'm Soshana, and
I'm Joyce.
it's good to be here again today.
That's right. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for being here.
So we're going to talk about what, market?
Yeah, we can talk about the market.
Yes, yes.
We can talk about the market. Yeah.
It's still going, right? Strong?
It's still going.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You say strong. I'm not sure exactly how to define, what's happening. But I can give you sort of an example. We have some clients that we're working with now. And they specifically would like to buy a house with a pool.
Interesting.
So, of course, the weather is now cooler and everything, but, they're looking forward to next year, being able to enjoy it. And you'd be surprised at the homes that are coming up for sale. And, they would send us a request to show us this property. And we would call, we're already in the middle of negotiations. We're about to reach an agreement. Okay. We had multiple offers on that property and, it's already under contract. And it's not that much time on the market,
Is it because of the area where it's at? Like in Metro Atlanta?
I do think that it has some to do with the area.
Right.
Because, they're looking in areas where the schools rank high.
Right.
So here in Atlanta, it's always been kind of known that a lot of people, that's what their focus is. They want, a place where if their children are going to public schools, they can, send them there.
Right.
So, I think that's a factor. I think that's a factor.
So it's still going for it, and they're still getting multiple offers then.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and looking at the ones that have sold, some of them have sold for even higher than listed price.
Ooh.
So, and I think it does have a lot to do with presentation. We had talked whenever Deborah Coulis was on
here
with us that how presentation means everything.
Right.
Because when it's presented properly and people see the house, they get an idea that, this is something we can move right in. We don't have to wait, get the work done, and then move in. So there's a lot more people that are in that position where they would prefer to find a house that's already ready than those willing to do the work. Because if the house is ready, then the loan's going to cover everything,
Yes.
If the house is not, it needs repairs, then that's additional costs that buyer is going to have to incur.
And they're going to have to go back and forth, I'm assuming, right?
Well, the buyer is going to have to do that after closing.
Yeah. If the repairs and whatnot is needed, and everybody they do go for inspection of the house, right?
Yes.
So when it comes back with some issues, then it's going to prolong the time in terms of when it can close, right?
Well, not necessarily, because what happens is that you do go under contract, you do have that period to get your house inspected, and get it checked out, and then to negotiate, things that are not maybe right with the house. So the negotiation could be that the seller says, sure, I'll do those repairs before closing. And they may actually keep the closing date the same.
Or they can just give you the money and say, hey, you take care of it.
Yeah, they can say, you know what, I can do a combination.
Right.
I've seen where the seller says, okay, I'll do these things, and then I'll credit you a certain amount of money towards closing costs or something like that. So that's less money that the buyer would need to bring to the table so that they can handle those things after closing. Or just credit them the amount that, they agree upon, or the same, with the same type of situation where after closing, the buyer handles it. But then,
wow, that's interesting.
There's things, okay? Whenever you are buying a house on credit, there's certain factors, like the type of financing that you get. It determines how much the seller is allowed to help the buyer towards closing costs. So there's limits for the seller.
Really?
Yeah. So, it depends on how much down payment the person's putting down. Like if you're getting a conventional loan, typically, with a conventional loan, you're putting like 5% down or something like that. And when you're doing that, there's a limit to how much the seller can contribute. They can contribute up to like 3%. If the buyer is putting more down, like if they're putting 10%, then the seller can contribute more money. If they're putting down 20% or more, then the seller can contribute with a higher percentage.
The more deposit or more down payment you make, you can get more help.
Yes. With conventional loans.
What?
With an FHA loan, it's usually 3% down that's being, 3%, 3.5% that's being put down by the buyer. And with that type of loan, the bank allows up to 6% contribution from the seller. So there's limitations, and those limitations may keep, like, you can't just say, okay, well, you know what, I need a new roof and,
you can't do that then.
New HVAC system and all this and just pile it all up and then think that, the seller can contribute all of that amount of money. So you have to really know what you're doing so that things can flow properly whenever you're in the process of buying and selling.
So, like for new home buyers, their fund is limited.
Right.
Say that like you're in your late 20s or 30s, whatever.
Right.
This is going to be your first home. What, so, and they don't have much money. What's the percentage of the money that they need to purchase a home? Say that they have a credit and all that. Things work out for them.
Yeah. So there's loans out there. Like, there's...
The FHSA loan you're saying, is that like 3.5 something?
It's 3.5% down, right?
Okay.
And it's really the buyer's responsibility to cover their closing costs, right? But they have the right to ask the seller to contribute, to help towards closing costs. Now, you want to be cautious because you may ask, if you're the first-time buyer or just a buyer in general, you may say, well, isn't the seller supposed to cover closing costs? No, the seller's not supposed to do anything. Okay, really? It's really the buyer's responsibility. You can ask the seller, and if the seller's willing, then it works. It can work to your favor, But in the process of doing that, you have to be cautious because you may go and you may put in the offer asking for help with closing costs, and another offer may come in, same amount, not asking for help with closing costs, and then who's going to win? The one that's not asking for it. So you just have to be strategic. You have to really think about what you want, how much you like that house, and it's almost better to really come prepared to cover your closing costs. And if it just happens to be that the seller is contributing because I don't know, you had inspections done and then they're like, what, I can help you with X
some
amount,
repairs
with some of the repairs, then at least you're getting that help.
So how much is usually the closing cost?
We estimate about 3%.
3%. So to be safe, you're going to need minimum 7-8% then.
Yeah.
Of the selling price of the...
I would say so.
Okay.
If you have that amount, that's good, because you have money to work with. Because you're really, whenever you're looking to purchase a house, there's 4 basic things that you have to keep in mind, like costs. Okay, you have your down payment, you have your closing costs, you have your appraisal. That's mandatory usually whenever you're getting a loan. Excuse me. An appraisal, which is usually mandatory when you're getting a loan. Okay, there's some circumstances where that might get waived. Okay, and the ones that I've seen happen, that's whenever somebody puts a lot of money down. Okay, that's the the times that I've ever seen that happen, but that's a rare occasion.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be prepared to pay for your
For those
appraisal,
expenses.
and then you have your inspection,
Mm-hmm.
which is not mandatory, but it's highly recommended.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
People are like, they're concerned because they're spending so much money, right?
Right.
They're like, oh man, got down payment and closing costs and the appraisal and then the inspection. You know what? Let me just forego the inspection. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because you don't know. I mean, you walked into the house, you saw how beautiful it was. You could see yourself living in the house, but you don't know what's going on down in the the crawl space. You don't know what's happening downstairs down in the crawl space or in the attic.
I know. You have to.
And what if the HVAC is not working properly?
Right.
It's at the end of its life. The hot water heater. I mean,
And people, but I've seen people though who want to forego the inspection, and I'll say like, you are putting so much money. This is going to be the biggest investment for you, and you don't want to do the due diligence. It just absolutely makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's just,
A year and a half ago and past, there was a lot of that going on. There was a lot of desperation to get a house. And they're like, you know what? Whenever, okay, I will just not ask for an inspection.
Right.
I'll just take it as it is, but I mean, unless you work in construction or something like that, I mean, I wouldn't do that personally.
Yeah.
I
I don't think it's a good idea at all.
Yeah.
And you focus on spending like a couple of thousand, I guess, or even not even that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to be a huge investment for
That could
you,
be a very expensive situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
So it's still hot.
it is still hot. I had a listing that we put up, I would say it was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it up on a Thursday. And by Monday, it was under contract.
Already.
Yeah. Again, it was well presented. The sellers took the time to present it properly. We made sure to price it properly, too.
That's important.
And I have a funny story.
Right.
So we have our strategic way of getting homes sold fast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a lot of planning.
Pays off though.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how, there's a lot of people that are in the business that they don't really know how to sell a house. Like they don't really know how to attract people, don't know how to push to get that listing sold. In my opinion, you really need to know your craft. You really need to know what you're doing. Okay? Otherwise, why are people hiring you to do this job?
That's right. Otherwise, I can list it and have it.
People think this job is easy. It's not so easy. It's work. So we went through the process of all the things that we do in preparation to get the house. The sellers aware of what they need to do to prepare the house for sale. Got the professional photographs, everything. We had our marketing plan. We actually have a marketing plan so that we can get this house sold as fast as possible. Why? Because I need to sleep at nighttime, okay? I can't stand to have houses just sitting there on the market. Can't stand it, okay? If it's up there too long, I'm not sleeping. What am I missing?
Yeah.
So anyways, we go and we actually visited the neighboring houses that were for sale.
Okay.
So we were very strategic. We're like, okay, those other houses were beautiful, really, really nice. Okay, that was competition. So we were a little bit like, ooh, little concerned. So we priced it properly. And we carried out our plan and did all the things that we do to encourage a lot of people to come over, have the open house, everything. Got it under contract. Well, one of the neighboring agents contacted me well, not the agent, but their broker contacted me, and they're like, well, so one of my agents has a listing in the same subdivision as you have, and the seller is wondering, why is it that your listing is already under contract and theirs has been on the market for so long? And I was like, well, I mean, we priced it properly, and we prepared the seller spent money and prepared the house properly, but we also did this, and this.
Why'd you explain all that to her?
Well, not everything, but just some things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is things that all
Everybody
agents can do. No. Not that they have to do.
They can do. Okay.
Okay. This is no secret. They can do this, but they just don't. It's like, you know what? We'll just put it on the listing service, and other agents will show it or whatever. So I think, that helped this broker to understand what it was
missing.
What was missing. Okay. And maybe the seller had some reason why to be upset, right? But that goes to say, and this is something that I talk to my agents about, is like, you need to put your best foot forward.
Right.
Okay. Right. And whenever you are presenting yourself, in front of a seller, really be aware of what you're bringing to the table. Really understand what that market that you're entering into. Do a proper market analysis. Don't just like push the buttons on the computer and see what the computer generates and see if you can, BS your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, really know how to explain.
Well, it's work though, Soshana.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is that, people think that it's an easy job. Like, and sometimes people are like, can you sell this house for me for 0%? It's like, this is work.
It is
This
work.
is work. Okay?
It is work.
And the work is so that you can make top dollar.
That's right.
Okay?
And sell it fast.
And sell it fast. Exactly.
Because every day, money, right? Every day stays in the market.
Yeah, it's
costs you money.
It is.
Yeah,
it is costly.
Yeah.
Okay? So, especially if the house is vacant.
That's right.
Okay, so, and we talk about this with our agents all the time. It's like, you know what? If your client has done all these things that you've told them to do, okay, and now the house is empty, that's a huge responsibility on you.
Yeah.
You better hustle.
Yeah, you want to
hustle. Okay, hustle, and don't sleep until that house is sold. And I don't mean under contract. I mean sold.
Oh, that makes a whole lot of sense, though.
It does.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
It does.
But, I think maybe that's why some of the agents kind of take it easy and not work as hard. Because it's like, what if the seller did all you tell him or ask him to do, and now it's like it's in the market? You really have to hustle then so that it gets sold.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what's expected.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I loved it. I love my job. Okay, I love selling. My favorite is actually listing homes. For a long time, I worked mainly helping buyers to purchase, and then I don't know, I think I was making mental notes of things that I would do differently if I was a listing agent, right? And sometimes I would call an agent, and then they wouldn't answer the phone. Oh my God, that was so aggravating to me. It was so aggravating.
They don't.
Exactly, they still do. That was on my list. Make sure, answer the phone. Okay? If they text, try to text back as soon as possible. Yeah. It's important. It's like you're representing the seller. Okay? Answer the phone.
I know.
Okay. Pet peeves, right?
That's very important.
Yeah.
And
And
how about the rental properties? Are they like still, people are still purchasing to invest in? I'm sure they are, but I mean.
Yeah, I think people are still looking for opportunities, and now that the market is changing, and I think that there's some people that are struggling. I think that there's people.
What do you mean they're
like
struggling?
Financially?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming down the pike, really.
I think that people are struggling,
especially white collar workers.
Yeah.
That's kind
and you know what? I'm so glad we're going into this talking about this. Yeah. So I think that things are getting a little bit difficult for some people, and when that happens, there's that risk that these people might potentially lose their homes. And I believe that people need to not wait till the last minute.
Yes.
Because if they're having a problem or difficulties making their monthly payment, they need to start thinking quickly. Like, you can't wait. You can't be like, oh, I'll just wait till the end of the month, see what happens. Because if you see what happens, 3 months can happen really fast.
Really fast.
Okay? And they could lose that house really fast. So it's really better if you sense that you have, you're going to have difficulty making those payments, that you quickly reach out to your real estate agent so that they can try to help you get that house sold. Sometimes you worry the house is not perfect or whatever. Still, contact an agent to help you resolve, because the agent is the one that can get your house listed quickly and has the resources. The MLS, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah, it does. It is
okay.
Powerful.
It helps us as agents to get the word out about these homes. We do pay to be able to participate and be part of this MLS database. Okay. That's just one of the pieces, but it's an important piece.
Right.
Okay. And that can help get your house sold faster.
Again, that goes to that thing. Like, you have to know someone who you can go and trust.
Right.
And talk to. See, the fear is there. It's like, oh my gosh, I know something is going wrong and I need to do something, but you don't know where to go. And then the day is ticking. You know what I mean? So having some kind of relationship is important. And then, oh my God, I know I can just call Soshana and take care of it. See, but if you don't know anybody, like, who do you go?
And sometimes people feel embarrassed.
That's true. And so you don't see the things they don't have to.
Exactly.
Things happen.
And things do happen. And it's better to just, just go ahead, talk to the real estate agent, get the ball rolling.
Right, exactly.
Okay, because if you don't, the consequences.
I know.
You could potentially lose everything.
Yep.
You could lose the house. You could lose the belongings in the house, because maybe you may not have the money to even put it in storage fast enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What happens then? You're just leaving it there. And
you leave, like, they come and you have to, leave everything, because how are you going to move all that stuff? You know what I mean? And then sometimes you don't have a way to move the things, like they remove the items out of the house, and you may not have a way to get those items moved from outside of the house to wherever you need it to go. So it'll get rained on and it gets damaged.
Gosh.
So it's so much better
to talk,
to face what's going on. Okay. Don't be in denial. Just go ahead, face it. Talk to a professional, see what can be done so that the house can get sold as soon as possible. And you know what? You may end up
making some money. Yeah, especially in this day. Right.
And you don't want to let your house go into foreclosure.
Oh, don't.
Because then you have the situation where you can't buy again for many years.
Right.
You know, you don't want to have that on your record.
No,
You know?
no.
Yeah. And somebody that's a seasoned agent can really help you. Okay. A seasoned agent is one that has knowledge and also has contacts.
That's true.
Okay. That can.
Somebody who cares, though.
And cares.
Because,
And
there's some big guys out there.
Yeah. There are big guys out there. Okay.
Who don't care.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter how good of resources they have and all that.
Right. Because what happens whenever people are having a difficult time is they start getting these letters, people offering to buy the house,
right?
You know, for little or nothing. Where you're not really going to benefit.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Whoever's going to benefit is the one that's offering you this little, pocket change money. And they're going to benefit from your equity.
Yeah. And so nowadays, I don't know. I think they're still there, open door, and the kind of companies will come after you. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to offer you this, blah blah blah." At the end of the day, you probably don't benefit or don't take. You can't even take the equity that you might have built.
Mm-hmm. So I can't speak on the specific companies, but what I can tell you is that you really want to really check your options, okay? And don't just take what somebody is handing over to you because you feel desperate, right?
Yeah. See, there's somebody who used the company that I mentioned, Open Door, but for them, it kind of worked out because they didn't want to spend any money, any time to do anything with their house. Okay. And the house was really in bad condition.
Right.
So I guess there's a merit in that.
Right.
But a lot of times that's not the case.
Yeah.
Especially if you lived in the house, then you take care of the house.
Yeah. In our situation, we really try to empower our sellers.
Yeah.
We try to empower them because we know what it takes to get into the house. It's a lot of sacrifice.
It is.
Okay? And to just hand over your equity, to just give it away, I can't swallow that pill. You know what I'm saying? So we have set up for our company, we have set up a game plan for those sellers that are having difficulties so that they have options either to sell as is, and we have, we make it where it's attractive for them. And then if they're in a position to work with us, and we can help them because we have resources to help them to prepare their house for sale, so they can still attempt to make top dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's still, it just depends. It's on a case-by-case situation because not everybody can do it.
No, not everybody. But I remember the huge house that you guys sold some years ago.
Yeah.
I know the effort that you had put in.
Yes.
You brought everybody, all your staff, everybody was working.
Everybody was helping.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was so beneficial for that seller. It was very beneficial because...
I'll say so, too, because at that time, the market was not necessarily the seller's market.
Right.
And then you guys were able to... It was not even a small house.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sold fast.
Yeah.
We really had to have everything. Yeah. Everything had to be in order.
I know. So...
That marketing plan.
I know the effort that you guys put in there. Yeah. But
it was exciting. The whole thing was really exciting.
Yeah, I enjoyed the food.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was.
It was fun.
Yeah. So, but no, it's it's really a pleasure to be able to serve in this way. Okay? And because it's not just about helping people buy or helping people sell, but having that human side of things as well,
which is important.
And feeling like, you know what, the work that I'm doing, it means something. It helps people.
Makes a difference.
It does. It does. So,
I think I totally share the sentiment.
Yeah.
Because, you make money while doing it, but at the end of the day, the satisfaction, right, that you get, made somewhat of a difference in somebody's life
Exactly.
financially, which is critical.
Yeah.
That's like the basis for us. Like without that, like the having your basic finance or the needs taken care of, right? It's everything is hard.
It is.
Yeah. So,
it is.
Yeah. That certainly gives you that extra satisfaction.
It does.
Ooh, it's done.
I know.
They made money.
Yeah, and even when you have your closings, there's something special about that. And people, like, when we get to the closing, that's the day we dress up. We're like, oh, okay, we dress up. And then the clients are like, you're all dressed up. I'm like, this is a day of celebration. Of course, yeah. And that's something that we, try to do. Like all of our agents, we try to do that, because, we understand all the sacrifice it takes.
Especially for the first one. I mean, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
The joy and sometimes the worries and whatnot that comes with it. It's a day of celebration for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And sometimes we have challenges. Like, I'm sure. Really challenges. We should talk about that one time, when on our episodes, because sometimes, like, I remember years ago, I had some clients that were moving from New York, and they bought a short sale. They were buying a short sale. And they were on their way. Like, everything was ready. We had everything set, the closing set and everything. And then with a short sale, the listing agent needs to be on top of what's happening with the foreclosure, the status of the foreclosure. Well, something happened and the house got foreclosed. Oh my God. Okay. And, the closing was going to be not postponed, but just canceled or whatever. And I'm like, how is this possible? And at the time, I wasn't a broker yet. I was an agent. And I spoke to my broker at the time, and my broker came in, and he's like, what's going on or whatever. I don't know who he spoke to or how he spoke to him. But he resolved it. He's like, you know what? He got that taken care of. I guess you call it unforeclosed. I didn't even know that was possible. And they ended up buying the house. Wow. But these people were on their way. They were already, like, the truck
is coming.
Was on its way. Okay, they were driving the truck to Atlanta.
Oh my God!
Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh! I would not be able to sleep. That was
so stressful. That was so stressful.
I bet.
Yeah, I have all kinds of stories. I have all kinds of stories. I was telling one of my agents this week. I said, because with these transactions, things happen. And it's like, oh man, that transaction like fell apart, whatever. And I told him, I said, I remember like my first year in real estate, there was always drama in every transaction. In every transaction I had that first year, there was always drama. That I got to the point where I was just waiting for the drama to come. I was just waiting for the drama to come.
That was for you. It was quite a transition, right? You were working for a company before you became an agent.
So, no, what happened...
Which had nothing to do with real estate, right?
So, no, what happened is that I was actually in college at the time.
Oh.
Okay, I was in college at the time. Okay?
Oh.
And then a friend of mine, a classmate, who I had just met, okay, she... we were taking a Spanish business class, and I presented or whatever, and she's like, you, me, after class, we're going to talk. And I was like, okay. So anyways, she was like, hey, where are you from? How do you speak Spanish so well? This, that, and the other. In her mind, she was already visualizing me being part of her real estate team. So anyways, she's like, she tells me, she's like, you and me, we're going to be friends. Oh, man, whatever. So we quickly became friends. Okay. And then she's like, you should really get into real estate. Okay. Take the class. I was like, okay. All right. I went and took the class. She's like, are you done yet? I'm like, no, I'm not done yet. So anyways, so she was, and I was taking this was, I'm trying to remember how many classes I was taking. I was taking at the time, I think I was taking like 7 classes. It was a full load. And then plus, like, whenever I had like a little break, I was like going on the into the computer lab and like completing the course. Anyway, so I finally, you know, she asked me, "Are you done yet?" "Yes, I just got done." "Go take the exam. Take it. So I go, I take the exam, and then I passed it on the first try. Thank goodness. I think it was because I was in the mode of always taking exams every day. So I was actually, at that time, I was working just doing interpreting, like for the courts. So that's what I was doing at the time when I got my license. But, you know, I had worked other corporate jobs before I went back to school because I was a traditional student. I went back to school when I was like 33 years old. Yeah. And then I got into the real estate and...
That's how you got into real estate. How interesting is that?
Yeah.
Wow, it's done well.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I would have never, I mean, I feel like I just kind of like bumped into that by accident. Like the universe wanted that to happen.
Yeah, some people that you run into, it's crazy how things work out.
Yeah,
you know?
I do believe that things happen for a reason. Like we bump into people for a reason.
I know that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then like things change, but then some relationships kind of stay.
Yeah.
And it's crazy like that too.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to somebody, she's like probably in her 80s or something, and she says, it kind of stuck with me. I heard it last week, and she says like, seems like all the relationships that we have some kind of expiration date.
I hope ours doesn't.
No, but I'm saying, but I was like, when I was listening to it, some of like the, I was kind of thinking about this family relationship in my case. Like, you know, family relationship, I think we want to think or we believe that it's going to last forever. And there's that bonding and what have you. And that doesn't always happen, you know, like a lot of families.
It's true.
And I think that's the hardest thing to accept, you know, even though you're a family member. It's not like you created this relationship. Like you're born into someone.
Exactly.
But, you know, the time is up for some relationships like that. I think that's really good. Because, like, when you're making friendships, it's by choice, you know? Like, yeah, I totally agree in that, like, universe kind of pushes you in that direction, too. So there's this, like, you know, that extra help someone. Yeah. But, like, so anyways, it was, well, like, yeah, it kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah, you know, and you know what's interesting is that you're saying that, but there's people that have left my life.
Too.
And that have come back.
Interesting.
And that left and came back. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think
life
there's
is funny like that.
Yeah. There's a reason for things happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, how are we doing out time-wise? Okay.
Well, I think this was interesting. I think it was good to like talk a little bit about the market, and it's always changing. Yeah, it's always changing.
But I think those who are listening, I think if you have any issues, really like having a hard time making payments and things like that, and if financial issues, really talk to someone before it gets out of hand. Really, I mean. Yeah. Help is always available.
Exactly.
And you can, like, when you have time, you can certainly make better decisions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You don't have to go that far.
Yeah.
So sitting on it doesn't really help.
Yeah.
Doesn't really help.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. And sometimes it's just a phone call away.
That's true.
It's just a phone call.
We're going to promise you we're going to keep everything confidential, you know? So you don't have to worry about any of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because, you know, things happen to all of us.
Yes.
You know,
different season, different time.
Exactly. I mean, you know, we've had difficult financial situations where, you know, it's like we kind of wondered, it's like, are we going to be able to keep our house?
Right.
You know, and then something happened and things turned. Like, it's like, oh my goodness, thank goodness that worked out.
Right.
But it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have somebody that you can trust.
Right. Yeah, I
know?
think all bad things happen to everybody. Really.
Yeah, it does.
But then, like having a relationship, the good relationship, can certainly help you.
Yeah.
See it
Mm-hmm.
in a different light, you know,
I agree.
and that certainly helps.
Mm-hmm.
That certainly helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody's against you or me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even the situations change, and so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So anyways, I think we should end it here.
All right, sound good.
And I'm sure next week we'll have something really, really interesting to talk about.
Sound good.
So anyways, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining.
I'm Soshana and
I'm Joyce.
Thanks for watching this week's video. If you have questions on anything we covered or you'd like to ask us, just leave it in the comments below. We love to hear what you have to say about what we talked about and what you want us to talk about. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.